No introductions are needed. It is the Scottish Premiership 2024-25 predictions here on Fog Football. Title 55, Title 56, the return of the Dundee Derby, and a whole lot more. Take it away, big man.
Yes, whole lot more. 12 teams going for one trophy. Realistically, 2 teams going for one trophy. The other team's just fighting to survive, and surviving doesn't mean finishing 12th place. Now, we will discuss who we put there in a second, but we actually went over our own picks because obviously it is a joint video, so therefore we need to agree to disagree. However, there was only 2 teams that we had in the wrong position, and when you switch them around, then we've got everyone in the right position. So
that sounds like the top 2, doesn't it?
It does sound like the top 2. Is it the top 2 though? Who knows? But for 10 of these positions, we had them nailed on.
Yeah, we had them nailed on to the cross like Jesus, and I think some of these teams might need the help of Jesus to do better than what we've got for them. But anyway, let's go in at 12th spot.
At 12th spot, we've got St. Jesus, or as we call them, St. Johnston, or as we could call them for next year, a championship club, because I think they're going down.
It's all over.
Yeah, Craig Levein, I'm not convinced he's going to keep them up this season. If he proves me wrong, then fair enough to him. But I thought they were fortunate last year to stay in the league. They benefited from Livingston just being absolutely shite and Ross County having managerial problems throughout the season. I think now with a clean slate and getting rid of Livy and bringing in a stronger Dundee United, I believe that St Johnston will be going down. Even if they can avoid 12th, I still think we're going to see them in the relegation playoffs. But for me, they're going to be last.
They're going to be last. They've got the weakest squad. I think even if Levein goes early, they'll still go down. It's that simple. I just don't see Craig Levein lasting the season. I think the longer he lasts, the more chance they've got of going down. But I think even if he gets sacked in October, they're down. They're down. It's all over.
It's all over for St Johnston. They're done. Right, coming up for 11th, we have got Ross County. Now, we haven't really decided whether or not they'll go down, and it's pretty
I did in mine.
Well, it's pretty impossible until we find out who they're playing.
Yes, but it's a very competitive championship, and I feel like, whoever wins that wee playoff will win them.
Like, Ross County aren't great, but I think they'll be better than St Johnston, and that's good enough to keep you off the bottom spot. So I've nothing to really add for Ross County. I feel like they've been one of those clubs, though, that are just constantly hanging around the bottom spot, and you can only do that for so long. Sooner or later, your luck runs out and you do end up finishing last, or if you keep finishing the playoffs, sooner or later you're not going to win that playoff tie. And for me, Ross County, they flirted with relegation far too many seasons now in a row. I think they're going down.
Yeah, they're going down.
Or at least finishing in 11th.
I do like the gimmick of the Highlands and all that stuff, but I mean, at the end of the day, it's only that can't keep you in the league. Your team's got to keep you in the league.
Aye, it's got to keep you in the league, and I don't know if this team's good enough. Speaking of not being good enough, I'm not convinced the next manager is good enough, but I think that he is fortunate to be in charge of a good club and he's got a decent squad of players, and that's why I believe that Dundee United will finish 10th. I think they'll do just enough not to go down. That doesn't mean I don't think they'll be in a relegation battle, because I think they could very well be, but I think in the end they'll just have a little bit more than the 2 teams below them, and that should see them to safety in 10th place. But I don't see Dundee United repeating what Dundee done last season at all. I mean, I don't really even see them in contention for a top 6 finish. So, yeah, for me, they're going to be closer to the relegation zone than they are the battle for top 6, and I do see them finishing 10th.
Yeah, I see them finishing 10th, obviously, because that's what's happened here. But Jim Goodwin will last the season, right?
Will he?
Yes, but he will walk at the end. Well, I say he'll walk. He'll get sacked at the end of the season. I don't think it'll be that bad. He'll get sacked during it. But I wouldn't be surprised if he did. I think if they kept them after the last season in the Premiership and the start to the season last year, it's like, realistically, why would they get rid of him now? I feel like they may as well see through a year in the Premiership with the guy.
Very lucky to get into the last 16 in the League Cup as well, I may add. Anyway, moving into 8th place.
Ninth.
Ninth place, just trying to skip a place there.
Motherwell.
We have Motherwell, the steel men. They're made of steel. I don't think they'll melt. I don't think they'll get relegated.
Can they lend Rangers some?
Rangers need some. But I just don't see Motherwell finishing top 6. For me, that's the kind of club that Motherwell are.
Ninth.
They're a club that I don't think are bad enough to go down, but they're not really good enough to get into those like European places. So Yeah, for me, if Motherwell finished a couple of places higher, I wouldn't even be surprised. But I don't see them making the top six, and I think that ninth is about as good as it will get for them. Maybe one place higher, but nah, I'm thinking ninth.
Yeah, ninth is nailed
Lost
on.
a couple of key players as well, so
Yeah, they've still got Lennon Miller, Stephen O'Donnell, etc. I think they've got a good manager.
yeah, but they've lost Blair Spittle, and they have also lost Theo Bear. They've lost Liam Kelly too. You know, that's Stephen O'Donnell, the legend's getting another year older.
Could be a mess.
You know, there's just factors going against them. Although they do have Liam Gordon, who they signed for St Johnstone, who I think will be a big addition to the squad.
Right.
But yeah, for me, ninth place is about right for Motherwell.
Up next is the position we disagreed on.
Yeah, so, well, I was not going to tell anybody that, so they would
Oh,
think
no,
it was-
I am going to tell people that, because you know what? We all know who's number one.
Unfortunately, we do.
Yeah, so is it a team in green in number one, or is it a team in green in number 8? It's a team in green in number 8, and it is Celtic Football Club's B team. It is Hibs.
Hibernian.
Yes, so I actually put Hibs 8th, you put them 7th, but we agreed to put them 8th.
Yeah, we agreed to put them 8th for the simple reason is when I put Hibs 8th, it was when I put Hibs 7th, sorry, it was a simple coin toss between them and Dundee. There wasn't much in it for me. And the fact that you thought Dundee would finish higher, I mean, that was more than enough for me to agree. Hibs have obviously bigger club, better resources. Do they have man for man better players than Dundee? I mean, probably, but we've seen from last season Dundee are solid, they're compact, they can play good football. They're a tough team to beat as well. And for me, that could be the difference maker. Plus, I think we've seen that, what's his name again?
Davy Gray?
No, these Dundee...
Tony Docherty?
Tony Docherty, yes, we've seen his first debut season in managerial first team. That he can be good. You know, he is good. I think we're yet to see that for David Gray. We've seen bits and parts where he's come in for 1 or 2 games before, but this season will tell us a lot about David Gray. And I'm going to back the manager that we know rather than the manager that we don't know. And I think it could be more a case of Tony Docherty beats David Gray rather than Dundee beats Hibs. I just think that Tony Docherty will get more out of his squad. And yeah, Dundee, I'm going 7th, Hibs 8th. If Dundee get top 6 again, then that would be remarkable. But unfortunately for them, I just do not see Aberdeen being as bad as they were last season, and that has to push somebody down, and that's Dundee.
I just don't rate Hibs. I don't rate the manager. I think the squad's the weakest it's been in years. The fact I think the top 5 will stay this.
Can we agree though that the top 5 clubs every season pretty much should be Celtic, Rangers, Hearts, Aberdeen, Hibs?
Yes, but I disagree with this season because I think Kelly and St Mirren are just so much better than Hibs, better run. But they should be there.
No, they are, and look, it's going to take a few seasons, a few years, I think, for Hibs to get the right players in and to get going in the right direction and to set the right foundations in order to get in front of those clubs. But if they were being run properly, then Hibs should be in the top 5.
Well, they should be, but here, they're not. They're 8th. I think that's about right. I'm not saying I'd be shocked if they got top 6, but I kind of would be. I just think the top 6 is cemented. And talking of cement, let's go down to Love Street, even though it's not been called that for 30 odd years. It's Paisley.
It is Paisley. Look, St Mirren, I expect to have another good season. I think they'll finish top 6 again. I just think that out of the top 6 teams, they will probably fall short.
We could be looking at group stage European football here.
Yeah, we could be.
And a top 6 finish.
And that will affect them.
Yeah, if they win the Europa Conference League, they get Europa League football.
What I will say is, I mean, would I be shocked if St Mirren finished higher than 6th? No, I wouldn't. I could see it happening. But I just think at the top 6, they're probably the weakest team.
If, Aberdeen bounce back the way we think they will, St Mirren should get beat by Aberdeen. It's just the way, and I fear the other 4 teams obviously is better than St Mirren.
Aberdeen's got a better squad than Hibs do, so I think Jimmy Phelan's coming in and he's got much better foundations to build on than David Gray. That Hibernian team's not great. I think Aberdeen actually do have a solid team.
Yeah, and dropping St Mirren down a place, it's not a disaster, all right, because this is great for them.
Yeah, if they get 2 top 6 finishes back to back, then again that is fantastic. Anyway, let's move in to our next team. How high can Aberdeen go? Well, we've got them at 5th place, so good enough to overtake St Mirren, not quite good enough to overtake Kilmarnock. What's our reasoning for that?
What's our reasoning for that? I'll tell you why. Derek McInnes is the man. Jimmy Thielen is a wee bit unproven. He's not impressed me that much in pre-season. I watched the Airdrie play them.
The Airdrie?
Aye.
The Airdrieonians?
The Airdrie. No, but it's like Jimmy Thielen, right? He could turn it around, and you never know. Maybe he could fire Aberdeen to a league title, but I doubt it. They've got a good. They've got a really good squad. See, for the league, it was what I think they do. I think they seriously underachieved last season.
Is fifth place a good finish for Aberdeen this season?
I would say it's.
Or is it the bare minimum?
It's the bare minimum.
So, despite him being a new manager, you think fifth is the bare minimum?
I think you look at it, right, and you look at the 4 teams above them, it's like you'd probably expect Aberdeen to finish fifth to them. I think a good season would be fourth, because I don't think many people would be expecting them to, unstick Hearts for third.
Aberdeen's fans seem to think they're by far the third biggest team in the league.
Aye, but that doesn't mean you're the third best. And I think that's the problem. They need to fucking rate. I mean, Hibs are, as you say, Hibs are the fifth biggest.
Well, last year, all you heard was Aberdeen fans saying they've got clearly the third best squad.
I think they've got a good squad.
Do they have a good squad at Hearts?
It's close. It's very close. Anyway, moving on. 4th place.
No, we're not moving on. We're talking about Aberdeen.
Well, what is there to say about Aberdeen?
You think 5th place is the bare minimum?
Yeah.
If he finished 6th, does he deserve to go? Should he be sacked?
Look, I don't know if I need to see how the season played out.
Alright, what about bottom 6?
Oh, aye, fuck yes.
So if he finishes 7th, he should be gone?
Aye.
But David Gray, how low can he finish?
Well, Hibs are shite, so... I don't know, maybe they can strip Sur away from him, like, but...
What's the lowest Hibs would accept for David Gray before you think that he's seriously coming under question to get fired? Like
9th?
No, it's lower than that. If this table finishes right here, right now, who will anyone be losing their job?
I would say...
Would Craig Levein even get sacked, or do you think he's more likely to walk?
I think he's more likely
He wouldn't
to
want
walk.
to do a championship.
Aye.
So is there anyone here that will lose their job? You think Jim Goodwin?
I'd probably say there's a more chance of Jim Goodwin losing his job than Davy Gray if it finished that way.
So you think Hibs would take 8th?
Yeah.
Not fair.
No, I'm not saying they'd take 8th, but they would accept 8th.
It's kind of the same thing.
It's not.
They wouldn't take it, but they'd accept it. It's kind of the same thing.
Put it this way, right? I wouldn't take 2nd for Rangers, even though the predictions might go against that. But at the end of the season, I think most Rangers fans are going to accept it and not really want rid of Clement. Depends how far behind. I think there is a difference.
Fair enough. For me, if Jimmy Phelan's going to be a success, you're going to see signs of it in the first season. I don't think Jimmy Phelan can come in and finish like 8th, 9th, and then be like, well, my first season I'll build on it. If you're going to be good, I think you're normally good from the very beginning. Aberdeen's a big club. They shouldn't be finishing outside the top 6. I think if he finishes 6th, he'll be alright. But for me, if Aberdeen have another season outside the top 6, I think they need to change the manager again. But we'll see. I do think Jimmy Phelan will get them. I do think they will finish.
But see, you're
5th.
right. I think with Hibs, it's like, they can't keep changing the manager, right? I think
Aberdeen's been doing that as well.
I think with Aberdeen, you can afford to change the manager because the squad's still good. I feel like with Hibs, it's like you kind of need to build something.
Yeah, whereas with Aberdeen, you expect the manager to come in and have instant success because of the squad.
And I feel like that's maybe the situation that Rangers and Celtic are in. I feel like Rangers are in a situation where the squad's not quite good enough, so you might need to stick with Clement. But with Celtic, it's like, well, if they don't perform...
Yeah, if Rodgers can't achieve with this team, then he needs to go kind of deal.
Yeah, anyway.
Is that position with Miovski staying in the league or leaving? Or do you not think it really matters? Aberdeen will finish 5th with or without him?
Yeah, I think if they want to finish any higher, they need them.
Fair enough, I agree. Right, coming in at 4th place, I mean, I think the top 4 kind of speak for themselves, really.
It's almost in the order there.
I say almost, it fucking kind of is like, isn't it?
Anyway, Kelly are in 4th place. Derek McInnes, good man. Good manager.
What would it take for them to take the next step and beat Hearts in the league?
Lawrence Shanklin's arse goes to Rangers.
Is that it?
Just his arse.
Do you think that could be the difference maker?
I think so.
Lawrence Shankland alone? Well, when you look at the goals that he adds to Hearts, surely if you take them away, that must
They
level.
didn't finish far behind last season with Shankland.
No, they didn't. So I think it was like 8 points in the end.
Yeah.
Surely Hearts are at least 8 points worse off without Shankland.
Absolutely.
So yeah, that could be the difference maker. I do think Kelly though. I think Shank will stay at Hearts, and I think Kelly will finish fourth. That's my prediction there.
Fair enough. Do you think Hearts will stay at third though?
I do. I've heard a lot of people say Rangers will be lucky to finish top three. I mean, I don't.
First top four.
I don't see that. I think Hearts could close the gap to Rangers, but I don't think they'll beat them. I'm just, I'd love to lie and sit here and say, aye, brilliant, we'll smash them, but I don't see it. Could Hearts get the gap to under double figures? I think that should be the aim. I think that would be a great season.
But see, that's the sort of talk that would get Clement sacked. If you're losing to Hearts or you're getting that close, he needs to go.
Yeah, but who's to say Hearts can't get to within 9 points of the champions?
Fucking reality. That's what's saying. That's what's fucking saying.
Reality fucking hurts, don't it?
Aye, right, I'm
going Hearts for it.
Reality does fucking hurt. That's what everybody's been waiting on.
Should have just skipped this part.
Aye, so Celtic Football Club going to second place.
+1.
Aye, +1. Yeah, I mean, it's Rangers on its second, alright. Anything to add? No, I would say, right, I said this in my feed. Rangers had an awful pre-season, an awful transfer window. Even if they had Shanklin signed, right, and like 4 other players, I would still have it on a knife edge, right? But I see nothing in this Rangers team that's going to even remotely offer a fucking challenge, let alone affect a title. So, do you agree with that?
I'm assuming you've got Celtic first then.
Aye, yeah.
How close do you think it'll be? Well, let's just move Celtic in the first place. Yeah, I agree. Rangers will finish in second.
Yeah, but do you see my point? Where even if Rangers had a really good window, you would still struggle almost to put them first.
Yep, and they've not had a really good window.
Yeah.
So, Celtic first place, haven't really lost any key players yet. They brought in Schmeichel, who I think's a massive upgrade on Joe Hart. But his age, we'll find out. But for me, Schmeichel in his prime was better than Joe Hart in his prime. Even though they're not in their prime, I still think old age Schmeichel is better than old age Hart, because I think that as soon as Hart got to his late 20s, he really began to drop off in quality, whereas we've seen Schmeichel be a lot more consistent. So I think Celtic have improved in the goalkeeping department. Striker wise, I mean, I think they do need to bring a striker in. I believe Adam Adea will, though, be signing for Celtic over the next couple of days, so they're probably going to bring him in. Paulo Bernardo just signed yesterday. Obviously, that strengthens the midfield, but I believe he's coming in probably because there's at least one Celtic midfielder going out. So, I mean, overall, I think the Celtic midfield will probably weaken by the end of the transfer window, but I still think they've done enough to stay in front, and I just can't really see them being caught.
Yeah, what else to say, man? I'm depressed about it.
But, 2.5 months to go last season, I mean, I thought Rangers were going to win the league. I couldn't see past it, to be honest.
Yeah.
The turnaround's crazy. So who's to say the turnaround can't quickly happen again?
See, no, the turnaround is crazy, right?
Celtic fans won't admit it, but last season they thought the league was gone. They did, right? They had an 8-point lead. They lost it. Celtic were playing really poor football. They dropped behind Rangers in the league. They did. They wanted Rodgers out. They thought the league was fucked. That's the truth.
Look at last season, right? See September, early October. Rangers were fucking awful. It was as meltdown now as it was, I'd say, maybe a week ago before any real signs, whatever. It can be turned around, right? See, Kelly could draw with Celtic, and Rangers could somehow sneak a win at Parkhead. And the pressure, I know people will be like, you're talking shite, but see the pressure that would be on Rodgers if they were 4 points behind after the first Old Firm or something.
A shite Rangers team as well.
Aye, no, I don't. It's unlikely.
Swings and roundabouts, man. Right? We're saying this and that now, but who knows? Come 1 month into the season, things could be looking a hell of a lot different.
But signings are needed to be made, and I think that's the difference. Celtic can win the league currently. Rangers can't. There's a month to go. People are saying, add Shankland, how much does that bolster Rangers' chances? It massively does, but they still need other players, man.
Aye, they do. I think they need a midfielder.
They need a right back.
Yeah.
They probably need a left back.
Yet to see how these new signings are going to be.
Need more wingers. Need probably a creative midfielder. Just Rangers need about 6 more players, and the money's just not really. I don't see.
And then to get new players in, you're going to have to weaken the current squad because you're going to have to sell before you can bring in.
Yeah.
The only thing I can think of is you get rid of Butland because he would generate you a lot of money, and therefore you can use that money to bring in outfield players.
But if you were to rate Rangers' chance of winning this league at a percentage out of 100, which obviously that's a percentage, what would you rate it as?
Assuming all the other 10 teams get 0.
Aye. So these two, it's between the top two, as it always is.
20%.
I think that's pretty high.
Fuck me, right? Ah, well, I'm not going to change my mind, but 20%.
Do you think if Rangers win the league, Rodgers has to go?
Well, I'll put it this way. See, when they were 8 points behind last season, I was giving Rangers like 0%. And they came back and got in front, so...
Yeah, I think that is the key difference here. Like, look how bad Rangers were playing last season. Beale sacked. The bloody defeat against Aris Limassol, right? They were 8 points behind. They're starting for 0.
Yeah.
Like, I honestly think, and this is going to sound so negative, but see if Rangers are only 3 points behind after the first Old Firm, I think that's almost like a positive. Because...
It depends, though.
No, it does depend, but I think the past couple of seasons, Rangers have... It's not just the Old Firms have lost points. It's been like 5 points behind, 8 points behind.
I know, but it depends how you're 3 points behind. If Rangers are 3 points behind because they've drew the Old Firm game but lost to Hearts, then I think you can argue that's an okay start to the season. I think if Rangers are level and Celtic and they lose the Old Firm game, it's just it's momentum. They have to stop losing Old Firm games. I think being 3 points behind Celtic isn't a massive blow, but I think it's worse if they're 3 points behind because they've lost the head-to-head, because they need to stop losing Old Firm games.
Yeah, but I know, I get you. It's a tough one to crack, guys, but we'll be here to crack it every
Well, it doesn't really
way.
matter, but what would you rather? Would you rather, after the Old Firm game, Rangers be 3 points behind with a defeat against Celtic or a defeat against Hearts?
The defeat against Hearts.
I just think Rangers need to
But
stop.
realistically, you would think the defeat would come against Celtic.
Yeah, but I think they need to stop losing against Celtic, because you cannot win leagues if you're losing 3-4 Old Firm games a season. It's just not going to happen. So they need to improve. They need to start getting results there.
Yeah, but imagine Rangers lose on Saturday.
What are you saying, imagine? It could easily happen.
Yeah, no, it could easily happen, but you're talking about the scenario where it'd be better for Rangers to lose against Hearts but draw against Celtic. Like, picture the fucking outrage on Saturday. 3 o'clock, the meltdown. I'll be melting down. I'll be melting down like I am right now. It's fucking roasting.
Who's to say Rangers couldn't be 6 points behind Celtic going into the Old Firm game and beat them? And then they're free.
Well, fuck, would Clement even be in a job if they were 6 points behind going into the...
That's only the fourth game, like, I mean, I imagine he would be.
Out the Champions League, 6 points behind, 4 games into the league, you're free, whatever the fuck it is.
I never mentioned anything about the Champions League.
Ah, well, I did. Anyway, guys, leave your thoughts down below. That is it. How many will we have right? Well, this is the exact same as me for the season, so...
I'm actually confident we'll get at least half. At least half.
Last year I got none.
You'll get some right this time. I think we'll get at least half.
See,
I tell you what, I think we've got the top 3 bang on, and I think we've got the bottom 2 bang on. So we only need to get one between 4th and 10th. And then you're guaranteed 7th.
As long as I get 10 out of 12, I'll be happy. What does that mean? What does that mean?